Greetings, how's everybody doing? It's kind of dark. It's kind of dark in here, but I hope all is well. Hope everybody's feeling righteous. You know how when it's time to make a video, because people tell you that you encourage them, and they tell you that it's a blessing to see you. They tell you, um, don't stop. Keep doing what you're doing. And because of that kind of encouragement is the reason why we keep going. We keep making the videos. But today I'm gonna talk to somebody, and I know it. I can feel it. I can feel it, man. Because we're spiritual beings. I can definitely feel the call to make this video, and it's to help somebody. And you never know uh, who life you may save when you just be obedient to what you feel like you're supposed to do. I don't feel like I look all. I've been up for like almost 3 days testing, doing all kind of stuff. So I mean, like in 3 days, I probably had about um, maybe 6 hours of sleep, 7 hours of sleep for real in like 3 days. I'm not even joking. But sometimes in life, you're called to do certain things, and you have to do it, and sometimes you don't know why. Sometimes you wonder about your state of being, even on this planet. And um, I've been going through that little journey these um, last past maybe like 30 days, 40 days. I've been kind of been on this journey of like wondering, but at the same time taking action in the things that I can do for myself. But the word be encouraged is a very strong word that I'm gonna put out right now to you. And you know who you are. You know who you are. You can feel a message. We don't always have to call out names, but you definitely know that this is you by the words that I'm about to speak. I don't always know exactly what I'm gonna say when I make these videos, but it's called being led by the Spirit. The journey has been full of emptiness. The journey has been full of guess, guesses, trying to figure everything out, not quite getting the right answers. The journey has been about um, locating that exterior happiness, because there's a joy that's inside of us already that keeps us alive. If we didn't have that joy that keep us alive, we wouldn't be here. Period. There's so many millions, so many hundreds of thousands of people, so many thousands, excuse me, so many thousands of people a year, and so many millions of people have already gone to the extent of taking action on not being here no more. So we know that there's something on the inside of us that keeps us going, and it's called strength. It's called God. Whatever belief system that you may have in a power that is greater than what you can do at the present, past, or even future moments. We trusting in God. We depending on that higher spirit, that higher power. God means power to lead us and guide us into a true state of being, which means you're satisfied. And sometimes that's all you want. That's all life calls for, is for you to be satisfied, and for you to be working on yourself towards you're satisfied with what's going on inside and outside of you. We've watched people in our life never reach that level of being satisfied with themselves, or even with, you know, what's going on around them. But to me, that was one, and not selfishly speaking, but to me, that was one of my goals, was just to be happy and satisfied with the present state of being. Meaning, I know whatever's going on the outside, I have this inner joy that I can always turn to. And it's there waiting every time. It's always faithful. It's always there. But I had to create it, because in the mental, I was taught growing up and from the things that I've seen that it just wasn't possible because of the exterior garbage that we had to see and face every day. But that's why God is powerful, and that's why God is God, because throughout all that exterior and the even sometimes the interior crap that goes on in our minds and in our mentals, in our psychic, in our bodies or whatever have you, whatever's going on, we strategize ways to push it out, and no longer have room for it, and invite in the joy that lives with us continually, and that's even in our mind and everything else. So, sometimes things happen in life where you just completely just don't understand. Everybody have a story, but that don't mean that your story is less because everybody have one. You know what I'm saying? There's no big I's and little U's. My story's better than yours, but it's all about how we make the story count for something. Like me making this video. I'm making the way I feel. I'm squeezing the joy out of it. You know what I'm saying? Which is how do I do that? It's called gratefulness. Being in a state of gratefulness. Okay. I probably didn't pass all the tests today, but I did pass one. I didn't flunk out. I didn't fail. You see what I'm saying? I have an opportunity to go back and do it again. Sometimes we go for what we know because we get paranoid, but we don't know exactly what God has for us. So we just go and we go. You have to. You have to. Relationships are different. Without money, you can't be around people. It's true. Or if you can have the regular basis, the job. You can even have the basic stuff, the job, a place to go, or a car to drive. But now everything is quote unquote material, so materialistic. Everybody's watching everybody else, what he got, what she got, what they got. You feel me? So it's like the relationships are at a turmoil. And this is not everybody, but most people, especially the younger generation, is facing this. They don't know what to do because the pressure is so hard on most of us to a certain extent. Like I say, when you don't have that inner joy, the pressure is on to go out and make certain things happen. I was talking to a guy yesterday, did 23 years in jail. Just random guy walked up on me. I was somewhere sitting in a public place doing some studying, and a guy walked up on me and he said, he started talking about his family. He just broke all the way down, started talking about his family. Told me he did 23 years. He had to go to jail when he was like 15. The dude was like, you know what I'm saying? So, look, we're fairly young people, and I don't mean young by young in number. I mean young in what you can still are capable of doing on this planet. See, people try to consider you a dead man walking in their minds, but let them think that way. It's called ignorance. You're not old until you're in the grave. And if you consider yourself old, then you already stopped. That's what I mean by that. That's what I mean about that age thing. It stops you dead in your tracks if you pay too much attention to it and you live by those principles. But anyway, getting back to the story, getting back to what I was saying, the guy just started talking to me and saying, man, my wife, and if I feel like I'm married, and I feel like I'm forced to go do certain things because even with the job, there's only so much money left over and this and that. So the solution that we came to was, sometimes you got to relocate, bro. We were talking about the relocation. When there's famine in the land, move on is what we were talking about. The solution that we came up with throughout the conversation. When there's a famine, when there's tragedy, when there's no money, when there's crabs all in the bucket, get out the bucket and move on. Don't stay in the bucket with the crabs and everybody's grabbing each other, holding each other down. It's the solution that we came up with, what we were talking about. I don't like to engage in conversations without actually helping the situation before I or the other person actually walks away. So this is one of the realest videos I ever made, and I mean everything from the heart, man. We have to build a house of inner joy from our minds, because it's already in our heart, but we have to allow the two to connect. Your heart has a brain. Look it up. Your heart has a brain. It thinks. It knows. It yearns. It feels the pain from all the relationships and all the childhoods and all the, you know, I believe scientists and all these physicists and psychologists, they can say what they want, but I believe the subconscious and the heart, I believe that the heart fix the subconscious mind so that we can keep going on and on and on. I believe the heart fix and put in check the conscious mind. I believe the heart relates to, when it's time to, the superconscious mind to do that thing that you think you can't do. You can do it. Go do it. And it's done. That's why a lot of us, our goal is to live from the heart space, because it allows you to care about people even though they did you wrong or you did them wrong. It allows you to go back and apologize. It allows you to forgive and do better. It allows you to see how you hurt someone and how someone hurt you. And it teaches you how to create a preventive state of being, to prevent things from happening again that hurts you, or to prevent you from hurting anybody else if you possibly can. I would like to say I put my heart in charge of my mind. I give my heart permission to be the leader of my life, and not everything that I think be the leader. Because we see a lot through that optic nerve. We see a lot through our eyes. And we hear a lot. And it goes straight up here. But I believe that the heart comes and exposes the lies. This is my belief. I just pray, man, that you hold on, be strong. We've all seen a lot. We don't know what's going to happen. All we do is pray for the best, but nobody knows exactly what's going to happen. I know there's a lot of people, and I'm not down talking anybody, but be careful with some of the people you listen to, because once you get a certain amount of money in the bank, you start to talk different. The people that we listen to, they talk different. And I'm not going to talk about anybody or call any names out, but the people that we listen to, they talk different when they get a certain amount of money in the bank, because that feeling of that feeling is no longer present. You can go out and buy a dinner, a bag of potato chips, buy a car that you want, buy a house. You kind of get that, if you let this take over and you don't keep, this in charge, you don't keep your heart in charge of your mind. You forget sometimes where you came from. Just like I use the example of a rapper. I'm not calling any names out, but a rapper used to be pouring out on the street, came from nothing. Know how it feels. Know what it feels like. Been through the storm, the dustiness, the dirtiness, the sleeping in the cars, the sleeping out on the street, and all of a sudden something happened to where you get blessed with a little something, then you turn around and write a song about the people that was once in your shoes. And I mean, and rip the people apart in the song. Tear them up. You broke, you this, fake diamonds, fake this, you ain't got no money, take your woman, screw all you do all of that when somebody was once telling you that. So that's what I mean about keeping the heart in charge. And age has nothing to do with this. It's a state of being. It's a state of mind, man. Age have nothing to do with this. It's a state of mind. I always tell people, I know a 14-year-old gangbanger, and I know a 40 and 50-year-old gangbanger with the same mentality. It's all up to you. It's all up to you. So it's mentality now that controls. It's a mentality that controls how you create and how you do things and what you create in this life. It's a mentality. From my perspective, and I'm not talking down on anybody, because if your mind is not fixed, then I believe strongly that once we know better, we do better. And how do we do better? I believe that you really sincerely call out to God and ask for help, because what's going on in your life or in my life is just not working. That's what I did. You know, I'm still hoping to see even better results. But God has been good to me, man. Real talk. Real talk. So God bless you guys, man.